Hi, welcome to Love and Sheila, the podcast. Today we're going to talk about how we can handle the changes that occur in our body as we mature. It's not talked about a whole lot and it may be somewhat kind of taboo, but today we're going to tackle that. As you know, I'm Sheila, your host, and I'm your regular everyday girl who just decided one day, hey, I'm going to share my experiences. I'm going to let other women know some of the things I've gone through and try and help them avoid some of the pitfalls. Now, we've spoken about relationships quite a bit at length. We've spoken about mental health and wellness, and those are definitely my wheelhouse. But today we're going to talk about something a little more personal, our bodies, our changing bodies at that. Before we go any further, I want to invite you to subscribe to our channel. We're talking about evolution here, evolution in every way, spirit, mind, body, and how we relate to the world. I often say it's easy to do the work in a bubble and you're sitting here and you're by yourself and you don't have to interact with anyone. But the work gets a little more complicated and when we have to actually implement it and execute it. So together we're here implementing, executing, and just trying to figure things out as women. So join me if you will. Go ahead and subscribe now. Well, let's get right into this. Growing up, my mom used to talk about the change. And I never really quite understood what that was. It was just something I heard in passing. But now that I've become of age and I'm maturing, and I'm starting to notice the different changes in my body and the different ways that my body responds to different things and different things that are happening that didn't happen previously. A lot of things that I just took for granted that I really have to give special attention to. And so I figured if I'm giving this special attention to it, a lot of you must be doing the same thing. And what I found is that the best therapy or the best way to evolve or to progress in these areas, there's no antidote for our body changing. It's going to change. We will mature and things get different. And things that never happen start to happen. Things that happen stop happening, if you know what I mean. So what we need to do is just find a way to adjust and to go with it and to not, like I often quote, not let Plymouth Rock land on us, but let us take charge and let us take control of our aging gracefully and our body maturing gracefully. And let's get an understanding and tackle it together. So one of the best practices that I've had is just communicating with my friends and say, hey, this is happening, or this is happening, or I'm trying this, and I think it kind of works. Why don't you try this? Or what are you taking for this? Or, what are you doing? Or how are you adjusting? And so I'm taking those conversations that I'm having with some of my girlfriends to bring it to you. By far, this is the most personal I've been on this podcast because frankly, it's easy to talk about relationships. They come and they go and they don't define who we are. So it's okay. I can talk about all those things. But this right here is dealing with me and this body, and it's the only one I have, and I own it and I possess it. So I have to find ways to own it in a better way, to accept it as best possible, and even to feel good about myself. So in doing so, I have to just tackle the body that I have, the evolving experiences that I'm having, and make sure that I'm being proactive in trying to have solutions for these issues. Love and Sheila's, the purpose of this podcast is to be holistic and to think about the entire being, mind, spirit, body, soul, everything. You name it, that's what we want to encompass, because we can't just take care of our spiritual body and forget about our physical and our mental. We have to be all encompassing. And just like healing, taking care of ourselves is not linear, because we don't just determine this one regimen and continue on that regimen and go off into the sunset. This regimen is going to change. It's going to have to adjust over time. We are going to have to learn to adjust with our bodies. And that's what I want to talk about today. And I guess I'll start with, about 10 years ago, I had a partial hysterectomy. And they took out my uterus and my fallopian tubes and left everything else. And I delayed this for a while until it started affecting other areas of my life, because remember, everything is holistic, everything works together. The reason for my hysterectomy was I had fibroids, so we wanted to get rid of the fibroids. That was the best way I found for me to manage it. And because the fibroids cause excessive periods, I was becoming anemic, and and the fibroids were beginning to grow and they were multiplying in there. And so I could actually kind of feel them and see them like bulge out. And for vanity purposes, I was like, we got to get rid of these. And the second part is anemia. I talked to my doctor. I said, what's wrong with being anemic? And one of the things that I recall is he said that it can cause hair thinning. And so that's the game change. I'm like, you're not going to give me a bulging stomach and thin hair. Let's get rid of this. I'm not having any more babies, so let's do this. So I had the hysterectomy, and it was probably one of the best decisions of my life as far as quality of life, because I was much more comfortable, and I wasn't having some of the issues that I was having previously. I recall right after I did it, my mom said, your stomach's gonna start growing. And I was like, what are you talking about? My stomach's not gonna grow. I work out, I've always had a flat stomach, I'm good. You don't know what you're talking about. But she didn't give me any context. She didn't say, well, Sheila, there's this thing called minnow belly or whatever, and women of a certain age, it can happen. So I didn't understand. At any rate, after the surgery, everything was fine. It did not propel me into menopause. I didn't have any hot flashes or anything of that nature. But I would say about 2 years ago, there was a heightened level. If you follow the podcast, 2 years ago, something happened in my life. There was a life change. And I started to notice that I was heavier, but I noticed that I knew that for a couple years, I knew that I needed to be heavier, because when I met what I call my fighting weight, pre-baby weight, I just looked very, very not good, very too thin for my frame. And so it worked at 25, but it doesn't work at 55. So I realized I had to carry a little more weight. But at the same time, I struggled with carrying more weight because I was focused on the scale as opposed to how I looked. And so, and I'm still struggling with that. I'm still focused on the scale, even though I don't get on the scale. At any rate, I started to notice, just like I was working out, I began to work out even more than I had in the past. And I was doing more. I was running marathons. I was doing all this stuff. But my weight just like stayed the same. And I was frustrated because it wasn't adjusting. I thought it should adjust for all the working and exercise that I was doing, but there was nothing happening. And then I noticed that my hair was becoming thinner in spots, kind of like a man whose hairline is receding. Like at the temples, it was becoming a little thinner. And I'm like, I've always had thick, full hair. What is this? And so that was very challenging for me. Started to feel a little bloated unnecessarily. I didn't understand that. Like I said, my workouts had intensified, but my body had stayed the same, if not maybe had grown a little. So I shared this with my gynecologist. And I told her, I said, last time we checked, my hormones were good. It doesn't seem like I'm like menopausal, whatever. She said, well, I don't want to go by what those blood tests are saying. Let's just treat the symptoms. And so she says, I think HRT, hormone replacement therapy, would be good for you. I think you're a good candidate for it. I couldn't sleep at all. I forgot to mention that. And remember, I was having these life changes at the same time. Not only was my body changing, my life was changing. I was getting a divorce. My son was going off to college. So I was like, oh my God, it's cortisol. It's cortisol. I gotta get this cortisol down. So I'm stressing out trying to figure out how to get rid of this cortisol so I can sleep at night, so I can have my flat stomach, so I can do all the things that I wanted. And I just feel like I just hyped myself up and stressed myself out even more. But anyway, like I said, she put me on HRT. She suggested I take it. And so I started wearing patches, and I did it for about 6 to 7 months. And I noticed that I was sleeping a lot better, that I could say. No change to my hair, no change to my weight. But I felt like I noticed my skin texture was changing. I felt like it was making me like dimply in places I was never dimply. And so that was not something I was willing to tolerate. And I was like, the only thing that has changed is me taking these hormones. And so I decided I wouldn't take that any longer. So I discontinued it because I didn't want the dimples that I felt it was creating. And like I said, there was no change to my hair. I still felt like it was still doing the same. I just didn't feel like those things, which I felt those were my calling cards. I always had beautiful hair and a nice figure. And I still have both, but I just felt like they weren't clicking on all the cylinders that I wanted them to. So I really wanted to deal with this. I still feel like I have both of those things. I still feel those are attributes of mine as I have matured, but they have changed, and I'm not just willing to take that, like sitting down, aggressively deal with it. And so I want to share with you some of the approaches that I've used to deal with the changes that my body has gone through, from the top of my head to the sole of my feet. I mean, there's been so many, but I'm just going to share a few things that I've been doing, and hopefully they'll help you. Maybe they'll give you some resources to try. If everything doesn't work for everyone, there's been a lot of trial and error. I've tried this and it was like, it's not doing anything. I've tried this, and just trying to get the right combination to have the success that I want. God, I've been working out consistently, feverishly for the last almost 40 years. And I've been able to maintain, my figure and my fitness level. I'm probably in the best shape of my life. And since I'm saying my fitness has increased, I'm working out 5 times a week. I'm very active. So if my body is changing and some things are moving around, and maybe I've seen some bulges where I didn't see any before, what do I need to change? And that's when I took a look at myself and I said, it's time to adjust the diet. I've always eaten whatever I wanted to eat with no consequences whatsoever. And I don't even know if it's just hormones and the change, so to speak, but I just feel like I need to be better at this. I feel like, let's not go and have 5 Cokes while you have lunch. It's not the best thing. Maybe we should control our sugar intake. Let's take a closer look at this. Let's understand empty calories. And I really started to realize how many empty calories I was putting into my body. So many different things I was putting in my body that had no nutritional content. It was just, it tastes good. I liked it. But at this point in my life, I don't think it serves me well to just pour that stuff in. I need to get value for what I'm consuming. So I started, and this is recent, and that's why I'm going to talk about this first. It's only been like a month, but I started to take account and started to log everything I eat and drink every day, so I could be mindful of what's going in, as well as how much I'm exerting, how many calories I'm burning a day. So I'm trying to be more mindful of that, because you can't eat, I don't know how many calories a day you're eating, but just say I was eating 3,000, I don't know, and I'm burning off 1,500. There's a deficit. So it may not just be that I'm changing, it may be that my metabolism has slowed and I need to stop consuming so much. So I had to take a close look at that. And I've been doing that, very mindful in everything that I'm eating and drinking, and trying to do it in moderation, which I always did. But I think I consumed most of my calories of the things that I was drinking. I was drinking a lot of soda pop. So now I'm not going to give it up. I haven't given it up because I feel like I am pretty clean as far as living. So if I want to have a soda from time to time, I'm going to do it, but I will do it in moderation. The same thing that I apply to, everything else that I ate, I'm applying to my sodas. Before, my sodas, they got free range. They could do whatever they wanted. So I'm mindful of what I eat. I work hard. And I'm saying all this to say it's time that we start watching what we eat. Watch what we consume. The processed foods, as my friend told me, try to eliminate them. I'm trying to cook at home more. Just that way I know exactly what I'm consuming and how it's prepared. So I want to just encourage you, as we deal with our changing body, let's deal with our diet. It's necessary. And I'm not going to preach too long on this because I'm really brand new at it. Just started, but I have to admit that it is important. Another thing that I've put a lot of attention to is skincare. I want to age gracefully, beautifully, and naturally. Natural is very important to me. It's very important to me to have my natural body, and it's okay if that's what you want to do. If you want to get liposuction and whatever you want to do, that's fine. But for me, it's been very important for me to be natural, to work hard for everything that I have. And sometimes it's just not quite what I want it to be. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, there are things happening on my skin that I don't like, but I want to age gracefully and naturally. So I'm using quite a few products. During the pandemic, I started to really get into my skincare routine, because we didn't have much more we can do, and I started using IS Clinical, and I've got all these serums. I use about 3 serums a day. No, actually 4 serums a day: eye creams, neck creams, firming creams, moisturizers, sunscreen. So I'm doing this. It's a lot, and if I find anything more, I'll probably add that. Now, even with skincare, there's trial and error. I used a peel that they offered, and I think I got some sun damage from it. So it's like through the process, there's so many things. I don't know if it's hormonal damage or if it's just from the peel, but now I'm trying to overcome these little black spots that came like by my eyes. But I'm dedicated to skincare. I think it's important. When I didn't start it until I was about 30 years old, when I really started to take care of my skin. Prior to that, I don't know, I barely washed it. If I did anything, it was just put some soap and water on it. No moisturizer, no sunscreen. And then when I got about 30, someone stressed to me that even though you're African American, you still need to protect your skin from the sun. So I want to remind you of that. And with our hormones, I think it's even more important. And when I was taking the HRT, the human hormone replacement therapy, it was very important because it makes your skin extra sensitive to the sun. There's a lot that we can do, but I'd say take care of your skin early and often. You know, if I had a daughter, I'd tell her immediately, just like I have a son, and I got him the same skincare products because we have good genes. I think we can take care of them and age even more gracefully. And so skincare, very important. IS Clinical, I highly recommend it. I mean, I like it, it works for me. And some things haven't worked for me and I just omit. Can't do the hormone replacement stuff. I just don't feel like it works for my body. I just don't feel like it works. I don't think it works for my skin. So of course I'm doing collagen to try and help my skin stay plump and healthy. And then I took Halle Berry's advice and I got the Pendulum Metabolic Daily. And I think it's for gut health, and I think it's to help us with our bloating. And so I'm trying that. I've only been doing it for about a week, but we have to find, okay, if HRT doesn't work for you, then what will work for you? What will get you where you need to be? So it's trial and error. And right now, I kind of feel like I see some results from this, but like I said, it's early on. Who can know? But, you know, I'm talking to my friends and we're like, okay, I'm trying this and trying this. So we're just going through the process and seeing what works. And this is me just having that fireside chat with you and sharing with you my secrets. I come to you every week and I'm not putting any makeup on. I'm not trying to glam up for you. I'm coming to you naturally as a 55-year-old woman. And some of these things have helped me to maintain myself over the years, and I just want to share with you all. Along with the metabolic health, because I think it will help as far as bloating and things like that. And I really started, I added to my routine wall Pilates and just really focusing on my core, just core sculpting every day, 5 days a week to make sure that I'm making my core strong. I'm focusing on doing my sit-ups, taking my metabolic health for bloating, doing my core sculpting, and hopefully that will give me the results that I want, or help me to, more importantly, help me to maintain where I am, because I don't want any changes. I don't want any more change. Now, the most critical thing for me, and the thing that I love the most, well, my hair and body, I'll be honest, but my hair is very important to me. And I'm on a different hair journey now. I don't have a hairstylist right now. I've been kind of winging it for a while, and once I started winging it a little bit, I was kind of scared to go back to my hairstylist because I knew she was gonna be like, what have you done to your hair? And I didn't want to have that conversation because I'm vulnerable. It hurts. It's a hard conversation, and we know a lot of times our hairstylists, they own our head, and they, in my opinion, that's been my experience. This led me to deal with all the different things that I felt were going on in my head, my hair, my scalp. So I even made up a little concoction of oils with like coconut and rosemary and what else was it? Castor oil and some other things to combat dry scalp. You know, I got online, I started researching things to combat dry scalp. Use that a little bit. That's not it. I started taking vitamins, hair vitamins, about 4 or 5 years ago. Nutrafol, Women's Balance. For women my age, just I thought that would help me with the areas that I thought were thinning and help me with growth. And I don't know exactly how that's working. So I actually had a meeting with one of their doctors, one of their hair doctors this week, and I told her it's just a funny conversation to me because I said my hair is very important to me. And I was like, there's so many things in the world, but yes, my hair is a part of me. It's my crown and it's important to me. So what do I need to do to maximize and make sure that it's as healthy as it can be and it's growing like it should be and there's no missing pieces to it? And so we discussed it, and we discussed stress, and I brought up cortisol because I feel like cortisol is stopping a lot of stuff and stress is stopping a lot of stuff. And it seems that she couldn't give me a real solution for that, but she recommended that I do some meditation and mindfulness and trying to get my stress levels down. I'm going to use Headspace to do some more mindfulness and more meditation because I don't want to be full of cortisol. I don't want to be stressed out, can't sleep, just not growing hair. When you're stressed out, your body determines that they need to use those resources for other things, so it doesn't go to growing hair. We cannot be stressed. We have to use that energy to do other things for our beautification, and that's partly growing our hair. And I'm just being very candid with you. That's very important to me. So remember that we need to manage our stress so that we can have the growth cycle in our hair that we want. Yeah, I'm taking all these vitamins, paying a lot of money for this Nutrafol. I needed to do what it says it's going to do. So they gave me some hormone support vitamins to go along with the hair vitamins. So I just got that, starting that. We'll see how that works. I'll report back to you if I think it's working or not. Then as far as even growing it, we need to maintain it. So I'm like, okay, my hair is very dry. I need to find something to restore the moisture in it. So trying to use organic products to restore the moisture into my hair to prevent breakage. Well, restoring the moisture, keeping the moisture, and now I'm using masks to try and retain it to prevent breakage when I comb it, because I can't say it enough, my hair is very important to me. So that's kind of the thing. Those are the things that I've been doing. She also gave me a serum to use in the areas where I felt were a little thinner, and I should be using it all over. I didn't spend a lot of time on hair today. I just kind of wanted to be as natural as I could be and as vulnerable as I could be with all the different things that I'm experiencing, whether it be like the internet can be dangerous because it's like, okay, you have cortisol face. Oh my God, why are your eyes puffing up or whatever. And I don't know that all these things are from the change, so to speak, but they're definitely things that we as women have experienced and that we're trying to overcome. And for me, like I said, I'm trying to do it as naturally as possible. So I want to share this for women out there who want to do the same. You know, I really want to present me. I'm here, I'm talking about loving Sheila. So if I come to you with a mask on and with all these things on that are not actually me, how much am I loving me? I want to be as authentic, as raw, as natural with you as possible. I don't come on here all made up, all dolled up. I come on here in my natural day-to-day self, and I do it for a reason because I want to keep it real. I want to be natural. I want to focus on loving me, and I want to show you who I am on a day-to-day basis. Every day, this is what it is. This journey is all-encompassing. Loving on yourself is a lot. Like I said, we have to do our mental, our physical, our emotional. Now we have to take care of our bodies. We have to take care of our hair. We have to get rid of the kinks and make sure we're healthy. We have to go get mammograms and pap smears and all these different things, but it's not linear. Taking care of ourselves, it's a lot of work. It's all encompassing. It's never ending, but it's important. It's important because at the end of the day, we just want to feel good about ourselves. That's why I want to share a few of the things that I'm focused on as I try to navigate this change that keeps changing. This change keeps changing. I don't know what to expect, and I'm going to have to keep adding and subtracting, but I'm committed to the process of trying to naturally combat some of the things that are making me not feel like my best self and trying to progress. And that's what this is all about, progression and evolution. And I'm progressing and becoming a more mature woman, And I want to share how I got here, and hopefully younger women will do more of these things early on and not start at 30 years old, start at 15. It's important. So let's take care of ourselves. And I just wanted to give you this little, I don't know if it's a beauty segment, a lifestyle segment, whatever it is, just this is how we're going to make it through this change in our life. And if you have any more suggestions or things you think maybe I should try, don't hesitate to send it my way. I'm very open, because that's what I'm doing right now in this Love and Sheila process, just trying to be open to all these different things. So thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. I hope this helped you in some way. I hope you feel we're in this together, and we can work together and be successful and evolving and maturing and doing it gracefully, as that's what I'm trying to do. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and send me your comments. And I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next Love and Sheila.